right. We can get this live going. Let's pull up the comment section. Let people fall in. There's been a lot of requests for getting these done after work, so I'm going to try doing that. But I also want to make sure that I get all my thumbnails and all that other stuff going on. There's no like decent way to do this without having to do it like during. Yes, I'm live right now. Yeah. Let me see if I can add this to broadcast. There we go. Cold Film Productions. What's going on? Okay, give me 1 second. Well, I mean, you don't have to give me a couple seconds. I can see the comment section as it's going. Christian, what up? I just caught this A6700. You think I made a good decision? I think honestly, like any camera from like 2021 onwards, like is a pretty solid decision. So I don't think you'll be upset with it. And it's also like it's pretty current. Like there's not going to be a new one anytime soon. So as long as you bought it for what you needed it for, I think you're all right. Hang on a second. Let me just save this thumbnail. Chris Profit, what up? Is Profit your actual last name? Because that's kind of a dope last name, especially if you own your own business. Now I just got to try to find a live link for this guy. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do this thing where I post things on Instagram, and I also put a lot of questions in the community, like on Instagram. So it'll be helpful. Gemini McFly, young fella, I'm new to this. 54 years old. I've been watching you regularly. Appreciate the content. Keep it up the good work. Hey, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. Normally, I don't have people over the age of 35 watching videos. I'm 32. So, I appreciate that, man. Come, I watch all your videos. All right, bet. You watch all my videos. There's a video I do, a tutorial on the A6700. Who is the guest star of that video? No marketing name. Oh, I was going to say, I'm like, that would have been a sick, like a super solid, like real life last name if Profit was your real life last name. Right now I'm just shaving this on Instagram just so I can A, get into the questions, and B, so A, get into the questions because I asked them on Instagram, and then B, also do some other stuff. So I'm just going to make sure I post this link here. Y'all got here real early, man. Like, usually there's not this much activity in the chat. The cinematics. Man, I wish they would say what the specs are on the new FX3 camera or give us a clue so we know if I should wait or buy something new. Truthfully, man, I think they're kind of putting the writing on the wall in terms of releasing firmware updates for the FX line. I don't think we're going to see much stuff in 2025, which actually, to me personally, I think it's okay. I only kind of want them to release something if there's like actually something to release, not just for the sake of dropping a camera because everybody else is. Dang, this is the most active comment section the first 2 minutes. Alexander, my Canon R5 destroyed in a flood along with my 3 lenses. I've got a red Komodo X, red Raptor, but I want something light for travel. I'm thinking of jumping to the Sony FX3. Thoughts? Depends what you want the lightweight camera for. Yeah, depends on what you want the lightweight camera for. If you have an R5, I'm assuming you're taking photo. You might not like it on the FX3 because it's only 12 megapixels versus whatever they were on the R5, which I think it was a lot bigger. So you might not like it for that reason. But I mean, if you want a small video camera, I think they're still more than fine. Yoko, I'm 99 years old. I watch all your videos. Chris Wynn, at 99 years old, that is seasoning, which is perfect. Tell him to buy 2 FX3s. Hey, so we got a Sony sniper in the building. I'm not going to tell you who it is. He didn't put himself in the comment section, but I got a CII text messages. What was the comment before? Alexander to buy 2 FX3s. We got a spy in our midst. Sigmund, good evening. Ignore that. Good evening. Hey, Andre, calling it now, the Lumix S1H2 will have a new body style similar to the FX3. We'll also have AI autofocus or better phase attack autofocus with Ari's Log C from the G7H. I wouldn't put money on that, on certain details. There's certain details I wouldn't bet dollars on those things, but I will say that if we do get an S1H2 this year, which I hope, it's been like 7 years, I just want Panasonic to be competitive, because if every company is competitive, then we're the only ones that win. Like, we're the only, like, if everybody has a banger camera, then the only people that win is us, and we get to choose, like, what are the kind of nuanced things we like. But I would love to see Panasonic come out with an S1H2. That was a year ago. Cut me some slack. I've been watching the new vids. Don't kill me. Actually, the clue was they walked into frame. I think I know somebody that's had their hands on the FX3 too, but he can't tell me anything about it. I will put a good dollar amount that's not real. It's a hunch. There are certain people's phone numbers and certain people's email addresses that certain people are privy to. I know on good faith that it doesn't even, like, the concept of it barely exists. So, Java, you're going to feel real silly. That's my girlfriend who's walking in the background. So she's 6 foot tall. So, I mean, that might confuse people, but no. She lives in this house also and has reserved the right to walk around the house whenever she so feels like it. At least that's what's been told to me. Oh, I'm about to get in trouble. She's about to walk back and beat me up. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just put... I gotta put that live stream link on. You guys went ham in the comments and I just got here. Cinemaniacs, 1,000% it's real. Pixar didn't happen. We can put a dollar amount, bro. I want to see some pictures, or it ain't happening. I know somebody with the Panasonic S5 3X. He said specs are crazy. That's wild. Y'all are crazy with this. Apparently, everybody just got prototypes and everybody just been showing the. Okay, here's the thing. The reason why that is so wild, if there are people on the internet that know about these new models and that have seen them or whatever the case might be, I've read NDAs from companies. I've signed NDAs from companies. The amount of money that you can be sued for breaking your NDA, and it's so easy to really screw somebody over and do that, is so much money that a rational person wouldn't tell random people. It wouldn't make any sense. And I mean, like, Andrea Pizzini has, I think, really, really good sources. I think he has amazing sources, really. And even those people are probably like, yeah, I can get sued a ton of money. It's a gigantic risk that I don't think those things exist yet. My bad ideas do for everybody. I'm just kidding. I won't do anything. She's the one with the black belt and a katana and nunchucks and other stuff. Janelle, I'm embarrassing you on the internet. So yeah, that's... You're not in danger from me. I'll let her do it. What do you think Blackmagic Ursa Cine line immersive camera? I think the world is not ready for immersive video in mass yet. So although Blackmagic is really, really ahead of the curve, it's almost like the Vision Pro. We're like, I don't think we're ready for that yet. Because like we just got 4K TV. So now you can tell me I could see like an all angle. It's tough. I think it's a really good invention. I think when we are ready for immersive video that we'll actually get it, and at least like Blackmagic's super far ahead, but I don't know, man. I think it's great. I just don't know if we're ready for that type of platform yet. Sony a7S IV. My personal opinion, I don't know if one's going to exist. And if there is, Sony could do a really interesting thing where they can make them very much two separate cameras where you like have a distinction. So I would like, if I was guessing, or if it was to happen, I would want everything that I think people want from the A7 IV from a video perspective, because I think what people are asking for might, like, from what they may do, which may go more higher megapixels, because I did that between the 3 and the 4, and I think the 2 and the 3. With those high megapixels, you're not going to get the readout that you want. But if the A7S IV did a lot more of the video heavy lifting, while at the same time still maintain its low light capability, I think that would be a nice way of doing it. I just don't want like whatever an FX3, whatever comes out, to be the same as the A7S IV, because I think that not only confuses a lot of people, but it also becomes kind of a useless thing. So hopefully. FX3 2 means I could finally get an FX3. Honestly, yeah, they haven't gone down in price in a minute. Cinemaniacs, send me a photo of what it looks like, and then I will believe you. Send me a photo. Send me an encrypted. Send me an NDA. Send me a photo. Chris Wynn. Yo, Kofi, I know somebody with an A7 S9 and it literally has 0 grain, even if the camera's turned off. Say I'm lying. Y'all are wild. Honestly, like, here's the thing, like, that's not a conversation's not confidential. Yeah, like we talk to the Sony people all the time. Truly, I don't think they've started it yet. I don't think it's there yet. And I think they're kind of low key. We might get like an FX9 too, because it went, like, I don't know if they're going to make another one. Just because it's been a while since it's kind of been, not been updated. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't think so. If it started, I don't think they have a physical copy of it that people have in their hands yet. Oh, this is how much I love you, man. Me watching live in Nairobi, Kenya at 2:21 a.m. That is wild, because in Kenya right now, I know that sun sets at like 4:15 in the afternoon. So shout out to you, man. I really wasn't between the Lumix S5 II and the A6700. It was too difficult, so I chose the A6700 because of limited options on L-mount. Cold Film Productions, I think that's my biggest criticism of the L-mount alliance, or like just L-mount cameras. Like, I have an S9 here because, that's how we do, and then I have an S5 IIX on one side of the room. And at one point, I also had an S5 II. And one of my big things is that, like, there's not enough lenses, which sucks because the only way to get more lenses is people buy more cameras, but people don't buy cameras because there's not enough lenses. So it's kind of like a weird catch-22, which becomes a bit difficult. So I hope they release some stuff soon. I hope they, like, even if Sigma does a couple more things for them, man, and makes kind of another line of lenses, I think it'd be cool. Not a camera prediction. I would love the Sony FX60, an FX30 sensor, and FX6 body. I think I would like that as well, but I think the tough part for me with that is I would rather have a full-frame FX6 Mark II that can just do Super 35 mode rather than the FX30 being in an FX6 body. Because what would end up happening is that you run into the whole thing where, like, I think people are a little bit tired of every new release is just a camera that's been rejigged into another body, because some of those things that you can make up for, you can kind of buy already. So, for example, like, I can just get ND filters, like for the FX30 or kind of thing, where I could put on a cine back and I could build it up to a rig instead of Sony making a new thing again to have the thing that you've already kind of found the solution to, especially after as much time as it's been out. If they're going to do an FX30 or a Super 35 cinema camera, I would love if it kind of did something different with its sensor. Well, like, maybe you can do like 4K 120 frames a second and there isn't a crop on it or something. That would be cool. I think I like the concept of it, but I would love to see a different sensor, because I think that's what everyone's kind of looking for with the new cameras. How's the Oxmo 5 Pro in low light? GJ, you asked me that on Instagram, and I was going to get to the Instagram questions. Haven't tried it yet, and I think for me personally, like, as much as I love cameras that do great in low light, when I audit my own behavior, I don't shoot that much stuff like in uncontrolled low light. Like, even if I, like, for example, if I closed this door and like turned off a fill light over here, like, that would be a low light situation, and that would be like as far as low light would go for me. But yeah, with smaller sensor cameras like the Osmo Pocket 3, the Osmo Action 5, even your iPhone, like, smaller sensors, like, the physics is physics. Like, it's not going to be as good as an A7S III in low light. It'll be decent. You'll see things. It won't be a completely unusable mess, but it's not going to look as good as I think what people want it to when people say things have good low light or bad low light. Also, I want to reiterate the fact that there are 60 people in this live stream and there's 7 likes. Y'all figure that math out. I'm gonna just say it. I'm not gonna stop the stream until you like things, but I'm just saying, if you're watching it, you can click the button. That was kind of, I didn't mean to bully anybody. Love from London. London, Ontario, or are we talking London, England? Ooh, Sigmund, I wear the Vision Pro 4+ hours a day, and honestly, I'm more interested from now capturing beautiful anamorphic images which display well on the headset. I never thought about that, and that makes total sense. I never thought about that. That actually is really cool. That, you know what? Maybe that might be an application. I'm sure, like, once you watch a video, because I've used Focus Pro only like a handful of times, but I could see like even having a 2x anamorphic on a big sensor look really, really nice, especially if you want to have it in that like theater mode and like just kind of put the screen on the wall. Good call. What is the best body I could buy this year? Great for high res photo and good for video, 4K 60, 100. There's a lot. What was I gonna say? I'm trying to think. I mean, the A7 IV technically does all of those things, but they crop in all of them. So does the S5 IIX. I think the R5 Mark II doesn't crop. I don't know. I'm not. I used to have an R5. I used to shoot Canon a bunch. I don't know what Canon things do, to be honest with you. But there's a ton. And I think the A7 R5 does that as well. Kind of depends on your budget, depends on what you're shooting. But anything between like A7 R5 or R5, R6 Mark II, A7 IV, S5 IIX. I guess they haven't made an S1R in a really long time. And the Nikon Z8. I think the Nikon Z8 does all of those things. I think. I could totally be wrong. So we're not going to talk about the DJI mirrorless camera. That's because no one knows anything about it. And yeah, no one knows anything about it. So I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what mount it's going to have. I have things I would like to see from it. I don't even know, and I doubt it'll come out this year. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think we're going to get one this year. I think it's something that there's going to be other things that are going to come out this year that are going to be even just as interesting, if not a little bit more. I think let's keep an eye out for DJI, but I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up for them to kind of make a full mirrorless camera system in 2025. Maybe it'd be like a year following. Greetings from North Virginia. What up? That was a weird accent. I don't know what that accent was. What is the best? I think you asked that, Sam. Yeah, no, in terms of like best camera, here's the thing. In 2025 now? I don't think there's a one best camera for like almost anything now. I think it's like everything's really good. What quirks do you want? 4K 120 frames a second. I think the only cameras that can do that, just to like, I don't know if you heard the first one, but I think A7 R5 and the R5 Mark II can both do them. Photo, they're both high res, so you'll be happy with either one. I think there's also a Leica camera that does it. I could be wrong about that though. Follow-up question: if focusing on anamorphic talking head is worth getting into if focusing on anamorphic and talking head to worth getting autofocus camera from Sony when I'll likely use a DJI autofocus system, or is it worth getting Pixis or the S5 IIX? Sigmund, hang on a second. I'm gonna read that again because either I can't read or I didn't understand the question. Yeah, I think, you know what? If you are never going to get an autofocusing lens, you could get an S5 IIX or a Pixis if you want to use the open gate to kind of get more resolution in anamorphic. But if it's something where like that might be your only camera in your kit, I would probably lean on having something with good autofocus, especially if you're still doing client work and stuff. And even with talking head stuff, my S9 and my S5 IIX do really well in autofocus, but it'll hunt sometimes. Especially if it's not my face. Like if I put something in front of the lens, it'll hunt a little bit every now and again, and it can get annoying. And I know my like Sony won't do it, so yeah, I like your FX6 upgrade idea, John. I think if we're going to go with new generation of cameras, and this is completely a dream, I would love if everyone released their cameras by the end of 2026. And we heard from nobody for like 5-6 years. Like everyone's like, cool, we have what we have out. You guys figure it out from there. Everything else is going to be dependent on like what everybody does with the thing and like what firmware updates are. And like, I would love to have that because I think we're so far ahead of the technology that like we're talking about the FX3 Mark II or people are asking about it. I don't want to know what an FX3 Mark III would look like because I have no interest in it. Because where would you go from there, right? Rumors about FX3 Mark II. I know none of them, Jesus. Sony's pretty tight-lipped for most things. And when they are tight-lipped about those things, you get notifications within like less than 4 weeks. So like anytime you see any of those like pre-launch videos and stuff, like oftentimes those creators get like a couple weeks maybe of notice, and then it comes out and then you're going off there, right? So I don't know if there's anything, and to be honest, I don't know if there is going to be one this year, because I think, again, Sony kind of put the writing on the wall that like we might not get one, and we're going to give as many firmware updates like this year. So like if you don't see one, don't complain. At least in my opinion, I think that's where things might be going. Been waiting on the S1H2 for a minute. So is everybody. But I feel I'm going to be disappointed based on what the Leica SL3S looks like feature-wise. Here's the thing, and this is something that I thought about. Well, because I kind of had the same feelings about the SL3 and the SL3S. Those are all based on previous Panasonic cameras. If you think about it, like the SL3S is just the S5 IIX with extra steps. So the S1H2 has to be something that's not the S5 IIX because Panasonic already released it. I don't know. I don't think we actually. I think the S1H2 is going to be something a little bit different. But also, if I'm trying to keep this in mind, I don't know which Leica camera beforehand was the S1H, because I think beforehand it was the one Leica, the higher res Leica, the SL2, was the S1R. I think that's kind of, or the S1 it was one of those two, and then the SL2S was kind of the S5 II. So the S1H, I think, is always kind of the one in the middle that I don't think is like any of them. So it might be something completely different. Hey, beautiful people. What up, the film guy? Like your stuff? Hey, Zeus, bro, you asked that already. We don't know nothing about no FX3 Mark II. And literally nobody. Nobody that I know knows. And I would probably have different language if I knew something. There's not. Okay, give us this list. Just say the company name that has something very spicy in the works. If I'm thinking, everybody. I'll say this: the only company that doesn't I have no communications with is Canon. To my knowledge, everyone coming out swinging this year, and this year and probably next year. Everybody's coming out with something. Which they do all the time, so it's kind of a vague answer, to be honest with you. Also, just so we're talking about these camera predictions, I don't know anything. I know you guys are kind of hoping that I have insider information. I don't. I'm not that high on the totem pole. I'm friends with people that are higher on the totem pole, but that doesn't mean they tell me everything. So they've been having a lot of sales on the Osmo Pocket 3. Do you think they'll come out with a Pocket 4? Absolutely not. That camera is selling like hotcakes. They can't keep them things in stock. It wouldn't make, from a project management standpoint, from a merchandising standpoint, from an inventory standpoint, it would be grossly irresponsible for them to make an Osmo Pocket 4 right now. I think it's kind of the same as the FX cameras. They still sell so much. What would be the point of stopping that by releasing something else to confuse people? It wouldn't make any sense. I don't think the FX line or the Osmo Pocket line has lost that many sales, especially because the FX6 only was able to be purchased in mass 2 years ago, not even, maybe a year and a bit ago. So I don't think there's an Osmo Pocket 4 coming anytime soon. Ya Chengwa, I might have butchered that. Would love for Sony to bring the FS series to complement the FX30 and APS-C Super 35 E-mount lenses. I would just love Sony to make more Super 35 lenses. We may or may not have someone who is in Sony in the chat, because they watch everything. But yeah, if you hear us, make more APS-C lenses, man. Our APS-C people want some support. The FX30 is a great camera. I just will love that if the lenses got a little bit more love. Sam, would buying an A7 IV buying an A7 V now a good idea? Yeah, why not? Think of it this way. You buy it today, you love the camera. New camera comes out. Doesn't change the fact that the camera you have is good. So I would say anytime, if you have a burning need for a camera right now and you already have the budget and the boxes are checked off on the camera that you're already looking at, all your boxes are checked off, whether a new camera comes out, in the grand scheme of things, might not change anything for you. It might suck if you have to like, if it's like outside your return policy and you wanted to get the newer thing. But realistically, if all your boxes are checked off, then like, you kind of like, you don't have that feeling. So, or at least I don't think. Win just liked the 99-year-old. Just liked. Mucho love from Puerto Rico. Hey, Ramon. I was gonna ruin that last name. Thank you, man. Made from Java. That's the only thing I wish I had on the FX3, not being able to have 4K Super 35 mode if I wanted to for APS-C lenses. Yeah, I think that would be something that I would love for Sony to do, and it might take doing like a higher resolution. But yeah, I think like there's not, again, with these cameras now, like there's not like, as much as people are annoyed that there's incremental updates, there's not a lot that I think people would like you can do to make things a monumental shift, right? I think like sometimes the bar is set at like, show up to the game, Lumix. Like, they made the S9. I think that was really cool. And I think it's nice having that sort of technology in a smaller camera. But in terms of, like, new sensor technology for people that are kind of a freelancer, kind of pro community, realistically, when you break everything down, there's not a gigantic need for a ton of stuff in some of the new cameras, which is probably why the A9 II exists, but also why some people are a little bit upset about it. What's on your dream camera list from Portugal? What's going on? Dream camera list? I'm trying to think. If you had like a higher res FX3 that can give you all the shoot, like the up to 120 frames, even though I don't really use 120 frames anymore, at 4K without cropping in or any weirdness. It doesn't have to be Panasonic IBIS, but like if it's just decent, like if it works, a 3 like. Even if it didn't do full 3x2, but like if I had anamorphic lenses, it would still give me decent resolution across the board. And like 20 megapixel photos, like 24 maybe, that would be great. Like if the A7 III and the Lumix S5 2X had a baby, I'm fine. For like a mirrorless hybrid camera, I'm fine. Sam should get a Nikon because it does both really well. Yeah, like the Z, I think it's a Z8. I'm still waiting on my Z6 III and ZF from Nikon to ship to my house. It's been a while. We haven't heard from them, so I don't know if it's happening still, but I at least get to check out the Z6 III. I've heard great things. I've never used one in any significant way, and I wish I knew more about it. New codecs for Sony. Let's just get more than 4 of them. Like we'll take anything at this point. It was funny because like I made the C80 video and I've mentioned that there's like so many codec flavors and I'm like, that's too many. Like there's like 60 of them and it's ridiculous. And then everyone jumped on me and got mad that I said that like, oh well, there's too many codecs. Like, are you mad at too many options? I'm like, yes, because only certain frame rates work with certain friggin' codecs. It's insane, and I don't want to go through all of that. Like trying to find 120 frames a second, it sucked. But then Sony's on the opposite end, where like. On the FX6, it's like, hey, you can get 10-bit XAVC or 8-bit. That's it. That's all. Nothing else. We don't... Oh, you want RAW? Yeah, buy this other stuff. But, like, outside of that, nothing else. I would wish that Sony gets a little bit more flavorful in their choices. Chris Wynn. Let me just make this a little bit bigger because I can't even read this. Since you have an R5, how is it in low light? Not necessarily no light, but low light in general. Probably in comparison to the A7 IV because those two I'm eyeing so far. If I remember correctly, I don't think the R5 was the greatest low light camera because I think its resolution was really, really high. I can't remember. That was so long ago. That was like 2019. I don't remember it being a particularly great camera when it was a bit darker, so I would say that. I think, like, Sony has such a big reputation having good noise performance in low light, so I would say if those are the two and you need something for, like, lower light situations, yeah. Ooh, Sony APS-C user. Are you from Sony? Is that... I don't know if that's Sony Sniper. I actually don't know. Also, I just made up the name Sony Sniper because one of my buddies that works at Sony is in the chat. Also, there's always one guy that dislikes videos, and they're like always there notoriously. I appreciate your commitment. It's more than fun. Good evening. Hey, I don't know if Sony APS-C user is from Sony, but if you have any like things you want to tell us, anything you want to, put in the chat, I'll give you a super chat. Hey, I got a super chat. Oh, I got 3 super chats. God dang, I didn't even know this. Hey, super chat from Cam Mackey, Shill Team 6, gang, gang. So what ended up happening was we've now turned this thing that used to be an insult into something funny. I mean, I've been part of a community where we've taken words that were supposed to be insults and made them fun. And Shill Team 6 is what we've called ourselves now. So if you see Anamorphic live streams, just shout out Shill Team 6. And we got another one from Marcus Robinson. Hey, all my homies are out here throwing down super chats. This is great. Marcus Robinson, how are you doing and what projects are you working on? I'm actually doing a lot better. One of the things I'm trying to do is be in the gym a lot more consistent. I actually think I'm in worse shape than when I said I was going to start doing that because I traveled every other week and that just becomes difficult when you're in places with no gyms or food. So that's being good and planning things ahead. And also, like, I've taken on less client stuff so I could focus more on my health because you can only do YouTube so long as you're actually healthy. Projects I'm working on, we have an automotive shoot on Saturday. Shoot, it's on Saturday. And I'm in pre-production for that. I do a lot of traveling, or not a lot of traveling. I travel twice in February, twice in March. They're like 4 to 7 day trips. And that's going to be really cool. And then I think there's another project. I got a spec project for a headphone brand because I haven't done that before. So that's going on right now. So that's been it. Thank you for the super chats, Cam, Marcus, and Sigmund. Appreciate your time on here. Thank you, man. Trying to see if I got anything. There are so many super chats in here and just chats in general. Hang on. Let me try to scroll up and try to figure out where I am now. Holy, there's a lot of people in here. God dang. Okay. I'm going to go all the way up. Okay. There we go. There's quite a lot of you guys in here. This is cool. This Super Chat's live tonight. All right, FX3 S5 2X, starting freelance career. I think you'll be happy with either. I like the FX30 for the audio top handle for if you have XLR audio microphones. But I also like the S5 2X because it's full frame. You can do anamorphic stuff, and there's like other things you can do with it. If you know what, let's go S5 2X just for the heck of it. I love the FX30. I think it's one of my favorite cameras for the money. It has a lot of things going for it. But try the S5 2X, see how it goes. Chat, say hi to Janelle. She ran away. She's in the bokeh. It's better to fake low light if you can shoot with light and help pull things down in post. Absolutely, the film guy is 100% correct. Most of the TV scenes that you see that are like low light, they're lit up. They're just pulling the exposure all the way down. What do you think is a good camera for music, videos, and pics? Budget $1,400. $1,400 US. I think the FX30 cost that much. Maybe. I might be wrong by like $200. It might be $1,600. But it does have a 26 megapixel sensor. It's IPS-C, but like you could do that. I was going to say get an S9, but everyone would yell at me. Love from London, England. Perfect. Okay, so we got some UK man out here. That was a bad accent. Do you think Sony will release an FX3 Mark II? Would it have been Ruble global shutter 20 to 70? Oh, okay. I mean, Sony will eventually release an FX3 Mark II. Do I think it'll be in 2025? Truthfully, no. Yeah, no, I don't think so. And if it is, it's like game time decision, fourth quarter, like end of the year, maybe. Even like the A7 V, like based on its history, even that's like not out yet, and it came out December 2021. So they're not even on like exactly 4 years. Might be 4.5. So you're starting to see the gaps between cameras getting quite wide, which I kind of prefer because like again, there's not much you can go higher from where we are now. Do I think it'll have global shutter? It'd be great if it had global shutter. It'd be a lot more expensive though. I think some people that are asking for some of these features, like you got to be prepared to have some funding beneath your belt if you want those things. 28 to 70 f2 best lens ever. It's a very, very good lens. I'm very partial to wide angle lenses quite a bit, so that's a tough one, but it's a very, very good lens. I used it. I did not make a video for it because I was lazy, and shipping stuff, I got it super late, but very good lens. It says A7R5 doesn't have 4K 120 seconds. It crops. Oh, I didn't know that. Sam, good call. I truthfully didn't know. So that I think, I guess it's the R5 II, or Z8. Look up the R5 II and then the Nikon Z8 and see if those might check your boxes off. Panasonic S1 is fire. If you're on the used market, no autofocus. Oh, I didn't know the S1 doesn't have autofocus? Or does it have like the crappy autofocus? Like, does it have no autofocus, or is it like so bad that you may as well not have autofocus? John, are you streaming straight out of your camera through USB-C or HDMI through the encoder? Color looks good. No. So I actually put everything that I use for the live stream is in the description. Ooh, no, it's not, because I didn't put that in there. So I'm using the Blackmagic 3G kind of gray box recorder thing through the SDI. I'll put that in the description at the end of this video. The FX9 is the next cine camera. Alton, honestly, I mean, for right now where it is, like, you could probably get one for a good price. I think Marcus asked that one. 74 people in here. Everyone should go hit the like button for the algorithm. Love Kofi as much as we all do. Hey, 6 megapixel films done said it right. So y'all go press that like button. Actually, it's pretty decent for 73 people are here and 41 people have liked it. Don't play with me like that. Where are you on Suri Saturn versus Blazar Remus? I think I like the Remuses a little bit more. There's more character in the Remus. Like, you can even tell, like, right here, like, it does have that barrel distortion. It's not pin cushioned out. Surei's a very clean anamorphics, and I think when Surei was the only dog in the race, like, that was the lenses. But now, like, even some of the color swing on the Blazars are a little bit more pleasing, especially on skin tones. Like, I really like how, like, chocolatey this looks versus using a Surei lens. So, yeah, I said chocolatey. So, yeah, I would say in terms of having a unique look, I would go with the Blazars. In terms of being, like, safe, Surei. And I say safe because some people don't like so much character in their anamorphic lenses. I'd say hybrid camera without compromise is sadly becoming a premium camera feature. Yeah, like, the hybrid cameras are so good now. Like, I don't, like, again, I haven't even been freelancing or even had a camera for that long, but, like, I remember the days where, like, just getting 4K when people were freaking out. And there were so many compromises you need to make just to get, like, 4K. And now we're like, hey, can I get, like, 4K 240 frames a second with no rolling shutter? I'm like, that's insane. I don't know what you need those for. And truthfully, when I have some of those features, I never end up using them. It just becomes kind of talking points. But oh yeah, no worries, Jesus. Thank you, Chris Wynn. Definitely will check the ones out. Does it shoot? Yeah, okay. If you guys know the answer to some of the questions in chat, help me out, because I'm so far back in this chat that I'm trying to go fast. Do you think Blackmagic would put something between the Ursa Cine 12K and the Pixis? Technically, yes. Because the Ursa Mini was always a product line. So I could totally see Blackmagic making an Ursa Mini L mount or an Ursa Mini 8K or something like that, because there's always been like a Ursa Mini line. There's always been an Ursa, but there's also an Ursa Mini line as well that they could kind of jump into. So hopefully that comes out. Rumors that they aren't continuing the FX line. I'm not sure how much of that is a rumor that just actually is a thing. I wish I knew. Because, yeah, like the FX line and all that other stuff has been eerily quiet for like a long time. Did Canon send you C80? I thought you worked with them. Actually, Condor Blue got sent the C80 from Canon, so I had no direct contact with them. So Canon indirectly sent that to me, however, I didn't talk to them. So I was sent to me by Condor Blue, who has their connection to Canon. I don't talk to them. Sometimes there are brands that I work with I don't talk to. There's an intermediary between that, so keep that in mind. The film guy, I may have heard wrong then. Hang on a second. And if you have some info, would you tell us? I don't think things... Just kidding, I think. If I had information on cameras that are not released yet or things that aren't public information, even if I had that, I can't tell you because I will be sued a significant amount of money, and I love you guys. That's not worth the risk. I'm going to be completely honest. Unless those super chats are like 5 digits a live stream, yeah, I'll sing like a canary. But if I'm being honest, going home with like $40 is not enough for me to not only ruin my reputation with a brand, but also get myself in a courtroom. DJI RS4 Pro Mini, a possibility. I'd love if it was. You know what I would love, though? I would love if DJI, because I think, who makes them? Frick. is it Insta360 or Hohem? They got like the AI things now. I want to know if if DJI can do that, because I know like they're the gimbal people. I wonder if they can make like an AI RS4 Pro. I guess eventually a mini, maybe, but like I would love if like added to the LiDAR autofocus, like you also got like your little thingy. But then again, I also don't know if that's redundant because the LiDAR can kind of do that. So I might be asking for a lot. Came in late, so sorry. If you already touched it, are you going to NAB this year? Absolutely I am. I hit or miss if I'm going to drive there from Toronto with my car. I think it's financially more feasible and probably safer that I just get a rental car halfway and then drive the rest of the way there. I want to do a big road trip, but also I'm realizing that might not be a good decision. Ramon, bro, I bought the A7R4 2 months ago before the A7R5 came out because I didn't do my homework. Still great camera. Yeah, like if it checks all your boxes, still a great camera. It sucks if a new camera comes out the next week, but like, if you watch Andrea Pizzini, you'll know if a new camera's coming out. If you don't hear anything from him, I just assume it's not coming out. I'm fully confident I'll still be using the FX3 5+ years from now, if the shutter holds up and all the other stuff and like the inside of it holds up. But yeah, I think the FX, like until we're not going to do, I don't think we're going to put 6K at the same level of like, we need that resolution as 4K. I think 6K is like that's nice if we have it, but like we kind of don't care. But then again, I'm saying that now in 2025, and that might change in like 2035. But a camera that can do good 4K, you're going to be fine. Y'all are going to be fine. Hey chat, stream looks good. Hey, Giovanni's back in the building again. He's been on almost every live stream. Honestly, I just want more dynamic range and image flexibility. Yeah. Like that's what I mean. Like the bar's set in the basement now in terms of like new cameras and stuff. Like before we had so many big dreams of what we wanted. Like now I'm like, hey, can I just have better dynamic range? Because like I'm dark skinned. When I'm outside and it's daylight and I got exposed from my face or the sky, it's hell. It's not fun. And I always have to like look at everyone else who might not be as melanated and be like, oh, that's so nice that you have such great dynamic range when the IRE of your skin is like a full 30 points higher than mine. It's not fair. The world is not fair. God does pick favorites. What if you have a Canon T1 though? I mean, I don't, but still. I don't know what I do if I have a Canon T1. I don't know how to use Canon cameras anymore. I've only used the R5 and the C70 and the C200. I feel like that was in context of something else, and I don't know what it is. I might have missed that. I'm also super far behind on this. Lord have mercy. There are so many people that have said things. Okay, I'm going to rapid fire through these, or I might end up skipping some. Do you think we might begin to see something from the Nikon in red this year? Maybe a cine version of the Z9 or something? Yeah, maybe at the end of the year. I think like with camera development, from what I understand, it takes 3 to 4 years for any camera development. So whatever we are going to get, if we get anything, we'll at least get an announcement, but maybe like literally fourth quarter of the year, like end of the year maybe, for something that might happen 2 years later. In terms of how helpful it is to practice in Sony's monitoring control app, do Blackmagic have something similar with touch focus without a need of an ATEM? Blackmagic does have the Blackmagic camera app. You can interact with your Pixis or your Blackmagic camera, but the Blackmagic cameras don't have continuous autofocus, so you can't really touch to focus on them. I also want to see if S-Log4 something in lower ISO for cinema low light shooting. Not a bad idea. Just saw the FX3 was used in the opening scene of season 2 of Severance. Yes, also saw that. Honestly, after the creator conversation being beaten to death, that's not the most mind-blowing thing. Like they've used other consumer cameras and a lot of stuff. Like Age of Ultron, I think, used Blackmagics for crash cams. Thor: Love and Thunder, I think, uses 6K for VFX and stuff. So it's cool though. Like it's cool. Can you stream? YouTube's been streaming with the A7S III. Yes, I think you need a capture card. I don't think the USB goes directly in there. But from Sono, I will see the A7 IV at CP Plus in Yokohama. I don't know if you're asking me that because I don't have a buddy in Yokohama. If anyone knows the answer to that, that'd be great. But like, the writing would be on the wall. I'm assuming we're going to see an A7 V sometime this year. I think that's like the last, like it's it's the next camera that hasn't come out yet, and Sony releases cameras, so probably eventually. Hey, Kofi, nice to catch you on live. Just playing around with my FX6, trying to see if I can use my phone as a monitor for it. Over Wi-Fi, yes, but do you know if it's possible to control the USB-C port? I don't know. I've never actually done that before, so I wouldn't know. But if anyone in the chat can help out. Hey, the mighty Siobhan. Hey, what's up? I feel like Sony should give the Sony Burano or Sony Venice sensors to lesser camera body. What are your thoughts? Camera technology is super expensive. Like, here's the thing with, and I realized this in a meeting with another camera brand, there are things that we want, but I think what ends up happening is that we have to determine, as like from the camera brand perspective, they have to determine whether or not people are actually going to pay for it, or are we just asking for it? Because sometimes we'll have these big eyes and high hopes for what we want for a new camera, but then the price tag that comes with it, you're like, oh, I'll never buy that. Like the A1, for example, when the A1 was in development or before it became a thing, people were asking for this mega camera, and then it came out and everyone's like, oh, it's too expensive. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. Now these camera companies aren't going to put things like a Venice sensor and an FX6 body because I don't want to spend millions and millions of dollars on R&D for a camera that, like, in reality, people don't actually buy. The film guy, which monitor? Oh, yeah, that's greetings from Vienna. I might be in Italy soon. We're finding that out, but I might be in Italy soon. Vienna's in Italy, right? I actually don't know. Is Vienna in Italy? Yo, what up, bro? Finally caught a live stream. Hey, D. Tavon has one of the most aesthetic studios on YouTube. And I need that man to come over to my house and, like, redecorate this shit. Can I say shit on live? I don't know. I might have gotten demonetized. But yeah, no, he needs to come back on here. Also, run those likes up. I figured I'd just do that. Hey, is this manager Ori in the building? How can filmmakers on a budget optimize their setup and make the most of limited gear? Given the endless variety of lenses, frames, settings, and brands, how do you effectively subway your setup? Truly, I would say rent stuff. I think like there's like have a kit that you have to get things done. So if you have like an FX3, a couple lenses or whatever, and that's like your kit for I got a call yesterday and I got to show up to something the next day, rent stuff, because one, you could offset that rental cost onto a client. And two, then you don't have to buy the whole thing. Like if I wanted to get, say for example, the Cook lenses, I will never have the budget or the want to buy them, but I could rent the crap out of them all day long. So I think renting things is a big underrated part of filmmaking that people don't pay attention enough to. Okay, so you guys are figuring this monitor thing out. Just hopping on here. Now, when do you think the FX3 Mark II is coming out, and what do you think it will be the specs? If I was to guess, I think we're definitely gonna high resolution sensor, so we can enable having the ability. Hang on a second. I would say the FX3 would probably have a higher resolution, so you can get into Super 35 mode. I think all the shooting modes are going to be the same. Might get a little bit of faster readout. I think the megapixels on the sensors, like, it's just fine for what it is. I don't know if there's much more I want from it. I think a lot of people want ND filters on an FX3. It's too small because the system you have to put on there is going to be super tough to put ND filters on there. But what I would love to see is Red has this, and it's way too much money. But they have like an electronic VND that you can mount onto the camera. If you can do like an electronic VND adapter, that's kind of an optional buy. I think that would do really well. Michael Masters, hey Kofi, I thought about getting a KX because I heard great things about the image quality, but I already own an FX30. Do you think there's a noticeable difference between the two cameras? There is a difference between the two cameras from owning both. However, it's up to you to decide if you want to go from, because like what the KX is 2-3 times as much. That's up to you to decide, man. Like if you have the budget and the clients for it, go for it. There's a ton of things that like make having a Komodo X really favorable, especially if you're working in that workflow. But if you're working with FX30 clients, don't buy a Komodo X, no matter how good it looks. But there is a difference, but just keep that in mind. Film guy, here's fan. I heard you got injured. Oh, film guy, you got injured? What happened? I didn't know you got injured. Dang. Where can I purchase? Oh, where I can purchase your LUTs? They're usually in the description of all my videos. Maybe not on the live, but they're in the description of every single video. So if you go to like any of my video on the main channel, like outside of the live stream, they're right there. Thank you for that also. Also, there's another super chat I could see in here. Ooh. Ooh, we got the boy Lock and Shake. Uh, what's good, team? I mostly film real estate media from two homes branding. I have the Ninja, but never recorded straight too. Is it worth it filming in RAW? For real estate, my personal opinion, no. But I would say if you're somebody who shoots like commercial stuff or you send stuff off to a colorist, it wouldn't hurt to actually have that on you. Hang on, let me try to go back up to the chat because when I answer super chats, it gets a little bit wonky. Okay, ready. What's your thoughts on the dual lens APO budget cine primes? I'm looking for at 35 millimeter. Have you had experience with it at all? I've actually never used dual lenses before. I've heard of them. I've seen them. I've never used them. How do you feel about these new autofocus anamorphic lenses? Do you think the way of the future or passing fad? I think they're going to be great. I think anytime you could add something in that didn't exist before, like having the idea that Blazar and Surae have autofocusing anamorphic lenses with their character today for APS-C. It's not going to be a long time till it's full frame, and it's not going to be a long time until they get better at doing the autofocus things. So I think it's going to be a really good thing. It's also going to be great when they could also adapt the electronics to other mounts, because right now I think they're both only E-mount. So I could see that being a really good thing in the future. And passing fad, I think it depends, right? Like, I think with the response to vertical content, which obviously doesn't cater really well to anamorphic, the complete opposite swing of that is anamorphic because it's more horizontal. So I think there's still going to be people that like both. So I don't know if they're going to go out of style necessarily, but I think as long as you could watch video this way, I think they're still going to be useful. Have you gotten a chance to use the Laowa Nanomorph full frame? Not the full frame ones. I've used the Super 35 versions. I've not used the full frames yet. I feel like I've outgrown my FX30. Not sure if I should pull the trigger on FX3 when rumors of the Mark II might come out. Not necessarily to go for the Mark II, but I figure. I mean, like, yeah, if you outgrown your camera, I think that's more than fine. But honestly, if you buy the FX3 now, just sell it later and then upgrade a bit later. And hopefully between the time of when you bought it and when you got to sell it to upgrade, you've at least made some money in between those two things. So, like, you're not really losing anything. But I trade up and trade cameras all the time. I'm doing it now. Like, I think so. I have nerve damage in my arms. Oh, sorry, and I'm struggling to walk. I may be out of commission for a while. Thanks for love. Kofi, the stream. Let's keep. Hey, I didn't know that, man. I hope you heal up. Nerve damage is not a fun thing, and it's not fun at all. Kofi just dropped in. Love what you're doing. Any thoughts on the next Lumix full frame camera S12 S1H2? It took me, I think 4 days ago, I realized there's an S1 that could use a Mark II as well. I don't know, but I hope, because as good as the S52X is, and I use it all the time, like there's been a Lumix camera in almost every YouTube video. My struggle with Lumix is that they've been so long since we've been waiting for a camera, and I could only assume that the pressure is super high because for making everybody wait almost, 7 years now, for making everyone wait for so long for this new camera to come out, it has to be good. And I feel like if I was a manufacturer, I'd be sort of scared about that. I'd be like, oh crap, like we only really had what the SL3S was going to do. Like, what are we going to do now? So we'll see. But I hope that they put in some of the stuff from the GH7. Like, if we just get a full frame GH7 and a variety of resolutions, perfect. No problems. I'll be totally fine if they do that. Hohem M7 gimbal has a physical AI tracker on it. It's sick because you could still use the native camera app and aren't using... Yeah, Ori. So I'm pretty sure this is manager Ori. Hit me up on WhatsApp. I want one. I want one. You might see me with this Hohem M7 soon. I want one. Run it my way. Alexander, are you going to stick to Sony? What draws you have over them, or Canon or Red? Alexander, I'm going to let you know right now. I have every camera brand in this house. I'm shooting on the Pixis right now. I got this Lumix S9 out here. I got the S52X right beside me. I got a Fuji GFX 50R right below that, which you're going to see more videos of. It's just really cold outside. That's the honest truth. I got an A7C II somewhere in the house. The sticking with Sony bit, I haven't stuck with Sony in a bit because technically I have I have this many cameras in my house, and not all of them are Sony cameras. Hey, Navon's cinematic. So, if you guys watched the last video of the BTS of me stressing out about having a shoot with Keon Coleman in less than 2 hours, Navon actually was on that shoot. But his question is, I'm starting my first YouTube channel, but feel nervous about posting, worried about my talented friends might judge or I won't measure up. Any tips to overcome this fear and grow on YouTube? Fucking do it anyways. There, I swore a gun on stream. Do it anyways. For the most part, your friends that are also content creators as well aren't going to judge you, because we've also been at the same point where we started making videos and my first videos weren't good. If anything, they're going to be super encouraging and also offer you as much help as possible. I feel like my big thing for me, like whenever my other friends like are going to be like, hey, I want to like commit to making content, I'm like, perfect. Step into my office and let me tell you all the secrets, because like now I want to see if everything that I've done so far also works for other people. Your actual friends, they're probably going to be the most encouraging people, especially when they're other creators, because they'll understand the struggle. Growing on YouTube happens when you show up. That's it's like playing sports. If anyone's played sports, YouTube and a athlete's mentality are identical to each other, which is why you see a lot of fitness people can stay so consistent on YouTube. Just tuning in a bit late. Has anyone asked Kofi's thoughts about the upcoming Nexus G1? No one has Tricore Digital, and I'm interested to see what happens. I think Blackmagic, if you think about what Blackmagic's doing, is like they might not be making cameras all the time, but they've like slowly and low key spread their like wings and nails out everywhere. Where like now they have people using their senses to make cameras. Other places have Blackmagic Raw. Like, whatever game they're playing is super, super smart. I do think the Nexus G1 is a great release, but it might be a little too late now that you have things like the Pixis and the full frame 6K. Currently posting us at 5 MST. Let's see what time it gets on your screen. Dang. I mean, that's about an hour down. Fried, Austria. And my boy Kofi just showing love, enjoying the live. Hey, respects. James is another guy that's kind of putting his professional experience on YouTube, so shout out to him. Kadeem Booth. Kofi. Yes. You mentioned the eye tracker before in the stream. Hohem has on another M7 physical piece attachment. Comes with a cause. Oh, okay. Hey, I might have to get myself one of these Hohem things. If putting ENDs in the FX3 Mark II gives us IR pollution issues like it did on the Burano, in my opinion, not worth it. Yeah, Sony fixed that part. Like, exactly what the film guy said. Fix it. Just fix it. I don't want to hear any excuses. Just, you have time, fix it. Just, if you have a chance to do VNDs again, just get rid of it. Because I like IR pollution, like I could color grade myself out of, but it is annoying if you spend $25,000 US and then you have IR pollution. Rolling shutter, I could deal with. Bad quality image because of an ND filter that you made, not so much. Favorite lens for the FX30, the 13mm Viltrox 1.8. I'm struggling to get to the bottom here. We're almost there. Control over USB-C for Sony Control app control is possible and less laggy than Wi-Fi Bluetooth. Response to question. Okay, so that answered the question because I didn't use it that much. Thinking about an FX30. Thinking about it, the FX30 is getting B-RAW. Could be good for B-Cam for the Pixis. Not a bad idea. Keep in mind, though, just because something has B-RAW doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be completely color matched. It just means that you have that raw data with the encoding of Blackmagic RAW that you could put on Resolve. But you'll get closer than if you just use like XAVC or something like that. I own the dual lens set. Very nice, but they look super vintage and have a strong bloom wide open. So everything is not... Oh, so very much not suited for everything. Yeah, even the Cook SB3s were like that. Like, when it flares, it flares. Like, it's bright, and it washes across the entire frame. We have ourselves another super chat. 6-megapixel films, $5. Hey, respects. There wasn't a message there, but, like, I'm happy for it. I'm here for it. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I am so close to getting caught up on these. This is great. Do you think Canon or Sony will introduce OpenGate and SSD recording will be a better option than the Panasonic? From what I've gathered from both of those companies' design language, I don't even know if we're going to get OpenGate on a not FX line camera. And the reason why I say that is because Canon and Sony are very uniform in terms of how they do things. Like even down to like their lens design, and every lens is super, super perfect and clinically sharp. The body design is very distinct. Both of them do. I don't think we're going to get some of those things because I think they're very rigid on how they design stuff, where I could totally see them saying like, hey, that's cool, Panasonic has open gate. We're not doing it because that's not our design language. Like I could see that happening, which would be unfortunate, but I hope I'm wrong about that. Hey, I'm 44, big fan. Hey, respects. Thank you. We got, you know what? This is why I think the way that my language is sometimes when I talk about things, especially like weird stuff around like YouTube, is a bit more mature, is because I look at the analytics. A lot of you guys are grown folk. You guys vote. Y'all pay taxes and buy groceries. Some of you have kids to feed. Some of you have multiple kids to feed. So it's really cool that I have like a grown audience. I don't want to say a mature audience because, you know, sometimes things happen. But yeah, shout out to you. Kobe, with the quality of iPhone log, do you see a need for non-paid hobbyists to buy mirrorless bodies anymore, or should we focus on creating with iPhone log? Jay Mills, it's not necessarily the image quality out of the iPhone that makes me not want to use it. It's the fact that the image quality is attached to my iPhone. So, for example, the iPhone log looks great. Like this is my 16 Pro Max. It looks great. I don't like creating on it because I have notifications on there. I have emails or text messages. And I like compartmentalization when it comes to making content, even as a hobbyist, because if I am recording something and then I get a text message, my mind's out of it then, right? Like there's way, like I think there's still going to be need for cameras, like physical cameras. But I think what's happening now, and you're seeing it happen in real time, is cameras are getting smaller. Like that Fuji XM5, tiny. I can't hold it. Like I will. It looks like, I'm trying to think of what it would look like in my hand to scale. Like this, like SSD drive. That's what the XM5 looks like in my hand. Like that's what it feels and looks like. So I think there's still going to be a need for that compartmentalization. Dang, we got another super chat. Okay, Navon, yeah, with $5. You guys are great, man. This is actually really fun. Pure Character Classic. Mic drop. Hey, I'm just saying, bro. Your real friends will be the ones that are gonna support you on YouTube. It'll also be a ton of strangers too. But what's it called? Your friends are gonna be the ones there. Dos Fuegos. I watched a video for quite some time now. I know you started to do still photography. My question is, when did you know you wanted to do videography? When my bank account was empty, to be honest with you. When I started, I figured, I'm like, oh, you're already broke. You can't be worse than broke. So I started doing a little bit of photo and doing video kind of at the same time. But like I would say I was more successful at photo than video for like a period of time when I started making content. And then when video took off, I just stopped doing photography in general. Like I think there was only... there was a year somewhere in the 2020s where like I didn't have a photo camera at all, and I just had video camera. So I kind of made that decision at both at the same time, but like one got more successful. Then I sold all my stuff to make sure I focused on the other, and then I realized that like I actually like doing photos. So then I started investing back into doing things that are more fun for me from the photo side. I've been hunting since October. Oh, sorry, Buck Duncan. I've been hunting since October, and I'm just getting back into the creative mindset. How do you get back in the groove after being out of it? Give yourself time and pace, but only focus on doing one task per day at a time. So, for example, me, even like when I've taken vacations and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to come back and I'm going to make 7 videos and make 20 reels. I'm like, hey, man, like, let's just get like one Instagram story out of the way before, you know, you make your eyes are bigger than your watch. And you don't have enough time to do all those things. So just try doing like a thing at a time and then ramp your way back up. It'll be a lot quicker than you think it is, but just do small stuff and you don't have to worry about doing or making big swings or going right back into it from a hiatus. Have you figured out the color issues with your Fuji? Like my 50R? No, not at all. I haven't had one. I haven't had a color issue with the 50R. So, no, I don't know. Link to the hat ASAP. Hey, this is my nice Dragon Ball OZ. No, it's actually just Dragon Ball, but it is a Goku hat. You know what? I wish that I'm gonna put it in the description if I remember to. Yeah, Blackmagic being privately owned and having no debt that is wild. They're, don't sleep on Blackmagic. Like, as much as we think that they're a smaller company, and they probably are based on like staff and sales and like not having bajillions of dollars, don't sleep, because they make moves in the shadows, and they're things that I would have not, like, things I wouldn't have thought of. Also, I think they manufacture their own sensors, so like if anyone's gonna make something different, like, they can. Kenny Booth, that's great lens as well. The 27 from them, yeah, a lot of images look really sharp, but I think that's in a reply to the Do lens. No message needed, just showing love for... Oh, respects, yo. Thank you very much. Hey, no problem. I got 2 kids to feed, but don't call me grown. I'm about to watch Dragon Ball after your stream. Hey, I may want to do, and I don't know if you guys... You know what? I'm going to get a temperature check in the house. Put a 1 in the chat if we should do a weekly anime watch party. Like, we can only pick one anime at a time, because I'm not doing this for, like, hours, but I would love to take like one anime, which is probably going to be Solo Leveling, and we'll watch it together on stream. So put a 1 in the chat if that's something you guys want to do in 2025. Thanks, user for answering my question. Hey, you know what? This is cool about the community, is that like if I can't get to a question, someone else that probably knows more than I do can answer it. I have an FX3 and want it on Anamorphic. I blame you and Cam. Hey, Shill Team 6. Got any lens mount recommendations to start with on the FX3? I like the Blazars on them. I mean, you have less resolution versus open gate. I like the Blazar Remus lenses like quite a bit, to be honest with you. I mean, I bought them. Like I'm the guy that's in our group of friends that has no like real affiliations with Blazar, and then just bought my lenses. So yeah, I think I like those quite a bit. Keep in mind, I bought a set of Blazars before buying a set of Sure lenses. So just, I don't understand all the John Meyer. I don't understand all the technical aspects of what makes certain features possible in a camera, but why isn't there something like global ISO, all ranges being usable? I think because that sensor would be huge. I don't know. Either the sensor would be incredibly big or ungodly expensive. Like even sensors that, like, think about it this way: the Ari Alexa doesn't have a global ISO, and I don't know if I'm saying that right. Maybe it does, but no, I don't think it does. That's what I'm going to go with. That camera can get up to like $150,000. A global every ISO is clean would be so much money that I don't. Even if they could make it, we wouldn't buy it. We would want it to exist. We would never buy it. We would never put our credit cards on that. Byron Map, where do you find your LUTs? I thought I saw somewhere that you had a set download for sale. Yeah, my LUTs are available on every single long form video. They're just on my website. I'm working on some new ones. It's been taking a little bit longer than I expected it to, because I have to, like, when I make LUTs, I'll take like a base look from something that I made like 5 years ago. I'll put on DaVinci Resolve. I'll have this node tree and I'll try to like adjust and balance everything based on the camera to make sure that the color look that I want in there is still there, but also accounts for the shifts that are in the physical camera. So realistically, the looks I have are exactly the same. They're just tailored for different types of cameras, because I only use 5 looks anyway. But yeah, they're in my link in the description. I used S-Log to do those, but I've used those LUTs on my S5 IIX, my S9, and other cameras as well. So if you're using a not Sony camera with S-Log 3, your results may vary, but I've used all those on the FX3, 30, the FX6, and the 9. So they're in every video. Just not on this live stream, because I wrote the description different. Or not being filled with noise. Yeah, I think those sensors would have to be gigantic and super, super expensive. Let's go in here. I have an Aperture Nova P300C. You think someone will trade it for 24 to 70 jammer or 16 to 35? Light is too much for what I do. I mean, like, if I had one, I would want one, because I want to get myself some aperture lights after my car got broken into. I still have the money to buy lights. I just haven't done it yet. I'm gonna get some. I might get some aperture lights kind of going into 2025. We'll see. But yeah, I'm sure someone would sell it, or you just sell the light and then use the money to buy the thing that you want to buy. Oh, I thought you were having some sort of issues with exports not matching. Oh, so basically what it was is I was exporting the wrong color space. So I mentioned this on Threads earlier. When I was using my Fuji GFX 50R, when I exported a photo that I edited it, I looked at it, it looked great, put it on my phone, it looked different. Then I posted it, and then it looked different when I put it on my phone than when it was on Capture One. I figured that part out. Also, I didn't realize this, but like Instagram and Threads like compresses photos, and sometimes when you compress photos, it looks a bit different, and truthfully, it looks kind of crappier when you do it that way. So that happened. So yes, Giovanni, to that, I did figure it out. What was the first instance where you were able to capture on camera exactly or better than what you imagined leading up to shooting? Trying to think. I would have been the Gymshark commercial from 2021. That was a super chaotic set, and my plans had changed where I thought like, hey, you know what, we're just gonna have to try our best. But when I sent it off to the colorist in the UK, and when he edited and everything like that, we actually did a full interview about this. This is like years ago. It's one of my first videos. It looked really nice, so it actually turned out much better. I would say even the Keon Coleman shoot for the footage that we did have looked great. It's just that time constraint, man. Like, it really screwed us. Or, like, it screwed me in my brain because my expectations for what I wanted to do in that environment was a lot different. But at the end of the day, when we said in the video, once it goes up on the internet, your opinion doesn't matter. Do you think Sony will ever bring any flavor of XOCN internal RAW to their FX line cameras? I would say yes at this point. Like, CF Express Type B cards and CF Express Type A cards are fast enough that it can read OCN, at least LT. And I think even SD. I think me and a couple of Sony Canada guys are kind of like trying to math it out. And I think the cards read speed should be able to read it and write it. So I would say absolutely. I think it can. I think it should. And Sony's got to do something to be competitive. I think right now, like, and this is just conversations I've had with people in marketing and some of the manufacturing side. So Sony has the positioning right now because everybody's in the ecosystem where if you're complacent for too long, people will just leave, and it's a nothing thing. And I would hate to see that happen because that would suck. Haven't watched Watch Solo Leveling. Watch it. I'm not even gonna say nothing else. Go watch it. If you like Isekai, go watch Solo Leveling. FX6 or Ronin 4D, who wins the image? I guess technically the Ronin 4D, depending on what lens you put on it. It's a 6K ProRes RAW versus a XAVCS 4K. So I guess you like if the. Also keep in mind, this is like we're talking like, hey, in a game to 100 points, we're shooting like 88 to 92. Like it's not enough that I don't think it's going to change anybody's life. And that's from someone who like I use both. Ramon, I got the Blazer 65mm on the first batch. Used on the FX3 Anamorphic is incredibly addicting, but I've yet to find a client interested in the specific tool. Charles, I'm going to say this, and this is kind of how I buy cameras now. 35% of why I buy cameras is based on client needs. It used to be a lot higher before, but then I realized that like there are certain clients that just don't care. It's okay to buy lenses because you like them. I mean, we spend so much time investing in tools to make someone else's business happy. We can just buy stuff we like and just use it that way. It's cool. I don't have a client that's ever going to need these Blazar Remus lenses, but I bought a set of them my own damn money anyways because I like them. So I will say absolutely they're addictive, but you may never find a client that needs anamorphic lenses, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't get them. If you like them, you treat yourself. I'm an enabler. I need to pick up CF Express Type A cards. Has anyone used the OWC cards? Hey, Shaquille, I'm going to tell you right now, not because I'm sponsored, but probably because I'm sponsored, pick up them Angel Birds right now. Pick up them Angel Birds. You can get a 1 terabyte for like $500. And I think like if you scale that down, you can spend less money, but you still get more gigabytes for your storage. Go buy Angel Bird cards. Shout out to Roman, who's the CEO of Angel Bird, who hopefully is watching the stream. I've done my good deed. The video dropped about honesty is coming up. Sure. Whoa, hang on. The video you dropped about the honesty in coming up short. Oh, about your commercial was refreshing. The timeline was insane and unrealistic, especially with the talent. 3 hours. Oof. Yeah, Scotty V. I don't know if you've ever worked with professional athletes before, and this is like not even specific to working with Keon. It's just professional athletes in season in general. You won't get a full day, and like you won't get a full day because that marketing company has to pay tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to get someone for a whole day when they're going to use their likeness on ad campaigns. So you don't get a lot of time, right? And then sometimes what ends up happening, and like that whole shoot was kind of was a little bit of chaos because there was also an NBC crew there because there was a U of B game going on that day, and that was our first location. So we had to maneuver all through that stuff. It is what it is, man. Like, you have to kind of make things work the way that you need them to work. Like, that even happened with, I mentioned the Gymshark shoot, where this is before Derek Stingley Jr. from the Texans got drafted. It's like his draft year. And we also had Osa, and I keep forgetting Osa's last name, but he's a D lineman off the Cowboys. Same thing. Like, we had, I think the shoot was 5 hours, and I think we only had 2.5 hours with each of them. Like, we literally, like, at 2.5 hours in the shoot, they were, like, hard out, they were gone. When you're working with pro athletes, man, like, that's just, that's the things you have to deal with, right? Very rare have I ever had a 10-hour day with a pro athlete that's in season and currently still playing. But really thinking about getting the FX3, I currently have an A7S III. Should I go with it or go with another route in your opinion? Tyler, maybe pick up a used FX3. There's enough of them circulating around. So if money's an issue, maybe just pick up a used one. Sony probably need those loose market share. Sorry, Sony probably needs to lose market share before they make any big waves again. Honestly, you're probably right. Hey, Gobi, what website builder did you use to build your website? This live stream is not sponsored by Squarespace. I use Squarespace. I'm talking the 8K. Scott, wait, hang on a second. I got to scroll up because I don't know what you said. Oh, the 8K? Oh, yeah, that DJI 8K, I've never used it, but it looks great. So I don't know the answer to that. But that DJI 8K with the 8K looks sick. Hey, we got another super chat. You know, we can afford groceries this week. We good. Groceries on me. No, it's not. Hey, Kofi, thank you for doing these Q&A sessions. These are awesome. Learning so much. Hey, respects, John. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't know. I got apparently there's an order coming to my house that I did not purchase, but it's coming to my house. My question is, how are you getting the live comments on the screen during the live? Right now I'm using Ecamm KD Cinematic. So Ecamm is an application that connects to your computer or whatever camera you plugged into, and it directly streams through your YouTube on your behalf. I'm assuming using A10 with OBS. No. Well, I didn't answer the question, but yeah, no, technically. Good rule of thumb is don't buy it for fun if you can't afford to buy it 3 times over. Mine's 2 times. But I guess, yeah, 3 times is fine too. Just have enough money. Like, just don't go into financial stress buying camera things. And which could be anywhere between 2 and 3 times. That's good advice. Awesome. My Blazer, my 135mm, my Osmo Pocket are my fun toys for the weekend. I was trying to get Ramon to jump on the Anamorphic train while being transparent. Love my Blazer. Hey, I feel like Blazar's killing it right now. I don't know if you're going to see another company that's going to do what they did in that quick of a period of time. Because they only started coming out with lenses like, y'all didn't tell me I was out of focus. Terrible friends. I don't know if we're going to get another company like Blazar for a little bit. Blazar is to full frame anamorphics what Surae was when they finally made ones under $1,000. If you want good light for interviews in the two. One of the best. I'm trying to remember. Oh God, I'm so far behind on where lights are. I had the Kobor 100 watt light, and it's in the office. It's in my bookshelf back there. That guy's really good. It gets real hot though. It gets real hot. I think I showed in the video, like, it burned a hole in my pants. That one's good, but because it's lighter and it's made out of plastic, like, it wouldn't be something where I wouldn't abuse it. It's great if it stays in the same place, but I wouldn't abuse it. I think that guy's like $150, $160, but I think Nanlights, if you get a Nanlite 60B, if you're inside and you're not combating sun, like I've always liked them. There's one here, not on that thing, but there's 2 in the closet and there's 1 on the floor. But yeah, I like my Nanlite 60Bs. Those are my starter lights. No, Zhuin has some good ones too. So check out those guys. Brendan, Charles, I've been flipping blazers 90 degrees and shooting vertical anamorphic swap. You get an extra bit of anamorphic width as well as vertical. Your clients may like that. Brandon may have some things you have to pay attention to this one. He's very smart too. How much time do you spend on YouTube versus client work? Was with so much content. Scott, in 2025, I spend almost no time on client work anymore. Mostly because financially it makes more sense to do more YouTube content and then just say yes to client work that pays decently. So that's been good. Like working with sponsors, working with different brands, doing other things, which one days you'll find out next week what I mean by that. But doing other things will help out a lot, especially in being able to pick and choose. My idea of where I was creatively was like, I'm going to be a freelancer and only freelance forever, never, and amen. I think my mindset's changed a little bit where I'm like, hey, I'm going to water multiple streams of income while using my skill set and not really commit to any one of them unless one of them proves to be more lucrative than the other. So I kind of look at it a bit more holistically instead of like client work versus YouTube. It's which revenue stream am I going to commit to? But for right now, it's not a lot of client-facing stuff. Tricore Digital. The sensor would probably not have too big, but the processing power would be crazy. Basically, you need the power to make... Yeah, that you would need, like for... I think this is a response to the global ISO thing. Like you would need... It would have to be a giant camera to do all the processing and the power. And you need a processor for that too. Damn, I might actually try that. Hey, Brennan, I think... you got me on Instagram. How do you do that? I've seen it a couple times. I want to know how to do it. I need someone to explain me how to do it because I don't know how to do it. Yo, love your videos, man. Is it safe to say the FX3 is a Sony Venice for YouTube? Oh, ooh, that's not even a hot take. That's just a good call. But yeah, I could do. Yeah, you know what? I'd say the Sony FX3 could be the Venice for YouTube content. Would that make the Lumix S5 2X the Ari Alexa? I don't know. I'm not trying to start any controversy. My purchases are if I could sell something and offset the cost by 50%, buy. Hey, you know what? My thing is, so I usually will buy things like camera gear on the eclipse of knowing 2 jobs that could pay it off are coming up. Even if like the whole check from that job isn't going to that camera, if I know that it's coming up and like I could put it on my calendar, I could justify buying it. But also I find I buy a lot like truly, and I'm going to say this as transparently as possible. Like doing YouTube, there's pieces of tech you don't pay for anymore. Right? Like this Blackmagic camera, I pre-ordered it, not assuming Blackmagic can send a Pixis. It showed up on my door. Actually, at NAB, because we were literally on the way driving there. We had a meeting with them, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna send you one." I'm like, "Cool, I'll cancel my order, I guess." And then being able to loan cameras out. Like I eventually have to give these Lumix cameras back. I just don't know when that is. Just no one's really told me. But I've heard like people have had to bring stuff back every now and again. Even the DZO lenses I have, like there's a set that I have that are borrowed from DZO, and there's a set that I have that are my own. My own got stolen, but like, I don't know, maybe DZO watched the video. But like, there are things where I buy less camera gear, so my rule around buying it's a bit different because you get to borrow and bum stuff off so many people and different things. But for like Blazars, I bought those because not many people have them, and to rent them, they're expensive. And I rented them like 3 or 4 times, and then I just bought them because I rented the cost of buying a lens. So. But I can agree with that. I can't seem to get the colors I want out of the GoPros for simple stuff. So I'm about to move to the Osmo Pocket 3 since I have some stuff. Yeah, I mean, what I like, and I'm working on a video right now because I have the Action 5 and the Pocket 3. And I'm going to basically show you how I use them like in a full week of like workflow. I really like that everything kind of like matches up. Like when I use the Osmo Pocket 3 and when I use the Action 5, my rules don't change in how to expose things. It all looks really good. And it's surprisingly nice. Like, it's surprisingly nice when you give it a lot of light. If I'm wrong with the GoPro thing, please let me know. But the DJI color science matching to Sony's, like the FX3. I haven't tried that. You gave me an idea for this video. I haven't actually tried matching up the D-Log M to the FX3. So I'm going to see if I can do that. David Lau. Which editing software do you recommend for a beginner, PR or Resolve? Any tutorials, recommendations? I personally like DaVinci Resolve. I found that was easier to understand than Premiere Pro when I started, because I think I got DaVinci like literally the start of the pandemic. I'm pretty sure I got it like 2 months into the pandemic. My girlfriend Janelle also uses DaVinci Resolve. She used the free version to edit her iPhone videos. Before, like, I didn't say anything. We had just started dating. I walked in the kitchen one day and she was using the free version of Resolve. So, truthfully, I think that's the way to go. Also, you can get the free version and learn on that too. So, even if you get DaVinci Resolve, like, you don't spend any money trying to learn how to make it work. How after do you, hang on. Oh, I can see, how often do you do lives? I need to start. I think I'm going to do them 3 times a week. So as long as I am in the country or I'm not on set. So today, Wednesday, Friday, I'm on set shooting this automotive thing. No, Friday, I'm in camera prep and I shoot Saturday, Sunday. So maybe on Friday morning or Friday night. So I'm going to try for 3 times a week, but I can't say I'm going to do it all 3 times a week. So at least once. Kofi, is there a budget all-in-one lens for the Pixis? What would it be? I don't think there is. I don't know if there is. I like my DZO 40mm for like general uses, just because I like 40mm, and DZO has just been kind of the lenses I've used for like three-ish years. I don't think there's a budget, like, I guess the Sigma 24 to 70 L mount, I guess. I think. I don't know. I've used and I have so many lenses that it's hard to be like, this is the one lens, because that would be a very hard thing for me to try to figure out. How does it give that? Oh, okay. Okay, Brandon, perfect. I will probably see it in my DMs after the stream. You might have already said, or I missed, but the FX3 version 2, what do you think the new updates will be on the body changes? So I think we're going to get a little bit higher resolution. So give us the ability to go Super 35 mode. I would love the ability to have anamorphic support, but like in an actual way, not just if used on the screen, I still have to de-squeeze and post. Give us an extra codec. And like, if you can do OCN, LT, or XT, or whatever, that'd be great. But give us like just a higher thing codec, like a higher flavor. Because now that the Nikon Z6 III can do RAW, even though like I don't know what the pluses and minuses are yet till I get mine. But having the ability to do a little bit more than 4K at the way that it is, that would be great. There's not a lot that I expect from the FX line. Like, it does a lot of things really well. So, do you own any Aperture MC Pro style lights? Looking to add them to my kit. Recommendations. Where'd it go? Hang on a sec. When I get back into frame, y'all are going to have to tell me if I'm out of focus, because I did not put a marker down on here. Hang on a second. I got this guy. So this is a Nanlite Pavlotube 2 6C. This is, I guess, the equivalent of my Aperture MC, but this is like the little tiny... I have like 6 of these in the house. But I have these. These are like the closest thing to the MCs. They're mini tubes, so I understand that that's probably not exactly what you're asking for. Yeah, free Resolve is surprisingly packed. It's like surprisingly good. Like there was a time where I lost my my key, like the key for it, and I had to use a free version. Surprisingly good. Bro, huge fan from Boston. Boston? I don't know. I'm trying to Boston accent. That's not great. You had a DaVinci Resolve color grading tutorial that was the basis for my color grading 2022. You saved me a lot of confusion. Hey, respects, bro. Which video? Probably the first one that I did, if it's 2022. That might be a bit outdated because that was like Resolve 17 or 16, and we're on like 19 or 20 right now. So some of those things might be a little bit long in the tooth. I might do an updated video, an updated version of that. Have you tried the Tamron 20 to 40 or Sony 24 to 50? I want to start doing more personal content and like the idea of a more compact zoom than the 20. So I have used the. Oh, I never did the video for that. Oh, did I? No. I did a video for the 24 to 50. It's on the channel. I like it. I think it's great. I think you might want, if you want to do personal content and like if you want to do like facing stuff, 16 to 25, which is video. I don't think I had the lens. I didn't do a video. That's probably why Sony doesn't send me lenses anymore. Both lenses are great. The 16-25 might be a bit better of a vlogging lens. The 24 to 50, that was solid. I liked it a lot. Am I caught? I'm not caught up on the chat yet. I'm almost there. Late to the live stream. I mean, you're not really late. I usually get on these things for about like 2 hours, so we're actually doing pretty good. I wish there was a resource for Fusion. Yeah, man, that's a good call. I think Fusion is one of the more confusing things about DaVinci Resolve. Like I've had it for, it's my 5th year using DaVinci Resolve. I still don't know I don't know how to use Fusion very well. I'm not good at it whatsoever. Any thoughts on the Mikey full frame cine lenses? I'll tell you what, Real Kinetic Media. I did one of my I think it was like maybe like the 10th video I ever made was the full frame Mikey cine lenses on this Canon C70 before I switched to the FX3. Solid lenses. They have a bit of softness to them. They're a little warm. I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. They're a more warm, almost yellowish, softer version of the Digital Vespid Primes. If that makes any sense, if that's helpful at all. I guess from what I've understood about the Do lenses, it's closer to that. Like it's probably a little bit closer to that. And I think it flares a bit more. Now, what I can do and what I should do is more than likely, okay. I'm going to answer some of these Instagram questions because I promised I would do that. And then I have not yet. Okay. Instagram questions. Share the live link, please. Well, we're already here. Oh, okay. So DJ Green asked this one. Okay. How do you overcome bad results to YouTube analytics or according to YouTube analytics? Here's the thing with like making YouTube videos and stuff. One thing that's helped out a lot is making videos in advanced, because then if a video doesn't do as well, it kind of just feels like okay, well, I already have something kind of cooking already. Kind of thinking ahead feels a lot better when things go wrong in the present, because then you're not kind of hoping that everything rests on that one video, which is really, really helpful. But also understanding that like metrics are metrics, and you can't really grow if you haven't failed at stuff. And if something goes wrong, then it's a growth opportunity, not necessarily you did bad and should be ashamed of yourself. Also, that whole myth about the YouTube algorithm not liking if a bad video comes out, it's not realistic. I've had videos that I got 1,000 views, and then I had another video directly after that get to 20 to 30,000 views. It's not real. Who you got going to the Super Bowl? I don't know. My Falcons didn't go to playoffs, so like I don't care who wins anymore. And they've only been to playoffs like a handful of times since I've been alive, and it's been disappointing every time. Let's not talk about NFL. We're not going to talk about the NFL. Talk about some dream projects. What's on the bucket list? I have been hounding down a company to help me effectively do a documentary in Ghana to talk about things like how we do funerals, because funerals are lit. It's sad when people die, but funerals are lit. Also want to talk about like the fashion industry. I want to do a documentary on Deti December that's in Ghana. And Deti December essentially is, imagine Burning Man was a country. Not things were on fire, but imagine like the Burning Man stuff. Not as drug related, but yeah, imagine that was a whole country. A couple of, I don't know what else is on that bucket list. I'd love to do some more commercial work, but also like higher scale stuff. But also to do that, to spec my way up to there is going to cost me a lot of money. But I want to get that done nonetheless. What's your take on content creation and how it has changed the film industry? Well, I think what's happened now is that you are now like there's an added element of being a filmmaker in the industry now, where because you're enabling people to see who you are and what you're about beforehand, it's changing a lot of things where I think producers are going to be a bit more comfortable over time. I don't think it's out right now, but I think people are going to start to consider that when considering people, because the skill set melting pot has gotten so close now. Like before, when you learned how to be a filmmaker or whatever the case was, maybe you went to film school, no one else knew how to use a camera properly like that. Like nobody did. Now you have people that are understanding those things, and not even that, the tools are accessible. So I could go and get some of the same tools, not obviously not like Ari Alexa, not getting some of the other stuff, or not having like 40-person crews or whatever. But I can get closer, way closer than I could have any other time in history. So where's the differentiating factor? And I think one of those things, and the one thing like even AI can't replace yet, is personality. And I think with social media, because you could show that when people are picking who's going to pick a job, if you have two skill sets that are the same, they're going to pick the one they think is going to be more fun to work with. And that's the way that's the way that life is going to work. I mean, people are going to push back on it, but that's the world we live in, right? You have to have a personality even if you're skilled. Do you ever see Apple hopping into the camera game? I think Apple hop into the camera game the same way that Ari hopped into the mirrorless game. They'll just use another company to do it. And guess who's real close to Apple? It's the same company I'm using with this camera. Do you think camera companies will continue to develop anything less than full frame moving forward? Yeah, maybe. I mean, the full frame cameras are getting cheap. They're so cheap now in comparison to how much I remember when the A7 II was like $2,500. The A7 II. I don't even think you can pay someone to buy one from somebody on Facebook Marketplace. And that was only like 7 years ago. So I could see if full frame sensors become cheaper, like cheap enough that it kind of like doesn't make a difference to just having it like between that and APS-C. If that gap closes, I could see people only having full frame cameras going forward. And then medium format just being full frame. Hey, I'm working on a music video on the GH7. Dope. Wondering if I should get the Ari Alexa. Oh, color science transformed Ari gamut, or do you use the Lumix Ari? So I think you can. So the thing with the I'm trying to remember correctly because we had a giant meeting about this when they explained it to us. So you can use a color space transform to the Ari log LUT workflow on DaVinci Resolve. I think the problem was there is that the Ari log C isn't rated for every ISO, which makes it a little bit different, which is how they justify the price. I don't know what that means in real life, what that looks like in real life, but that's the way that was explained to me, is that the Ari log C on the GH7 natively is tuned to every ISO value that you're going to use, whereas I'm assuming if you do it the DaVinci Resolve way, you might get things like banding and noise a little bit because it only might fix to like one setting. But I mean, if you're doing a music video and you're getting some budget, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt you. We used it and it was great. Like we had certain parts of that shoot where we were like, this Micro Four Thirds camera looks a little bit too close to this Ari Alexa. We don't feel comfortable about it. And also, if we say anything, people will say we're lying. And that's what they did say we did. And there was times where people couldn't tell the difference. So there's that. African funerals sad. Also, African funerals 1 hour later eating like Goku. Yo, Adam knows what it is because African funerals are weird where it's like maybe 60 minutes of like wailing, crying, and like sobbing and just being so upset, and rightfully so because someone's loved one passed away. Quite literally in the same day, you are drunk dancing on a dance floor with so much food in your stomach it's uncomfortable. There's no in between. There's no ramp up. Like you kind of have usually like your funeral part in the morning, and then from like 7 o'clock till like 2 in the morning, you wouldn't know somebody died. And I want to document that because they're fun. Would love you to check out my work. Maybe a live critique session. I might do a live critique thing like once a month. I just got to be home, man. I think one of the big things I'm trying to do in 2025 is like if I'm gonna, because like truthfully, like where I'm going to doing a Europe trip in 2 weeks. Then I'm going back to Italy apparently at the end of the month. I only found that out a couple days ago. And then Maui. Then it's NAB. And then after NAB, it's essentially my birthday. Then it's my birthday. Then we're shooting a short film that premieres at Cine Gear. And then it's June. And then 2 months from June is Kondo. And then it's September, and we're like worried about Black Friday all over again. I would love to take some time out to do some critique sessions. Y'all are giving me a little bit too much credit. I am not the greatest cinematographer in the world. So if we do these critique sessions, I want you to understand I am not saying this from a place of someone who's a super expert. I just might know a little bit more than what you guys know at this current junction in time. Like, that's as far as my intelligence go. As long as you're using the right CST from the Rex Open Online lot, both are correct. Yeah, Sad Pepe, like you're right. The way that Ari and Lumix explained to us is it's slightly different, but I think you'll be fine. But I mean, again, if you have the money to do it, I'm not gonna say don't. I may have missed it, but is there a specific camera you're hoping and looking for to come out in 2025? I would love a Sony a7 IV to come out, but they actually do something, not just do what they did with the A1 and say, hey, we have a great sensor, let's just switch out some things. Change my mind about what I think that's going to come from the A7 V, which I don't think is very much. I want to be wrong. I would love an S1H Mark II, particularly in the B S1H Mark II. I've been yelling about that for like 3 years now. I'd love to see that in 2025. I would. Someone brought up Blackmagic. It picks like between Pixis and an Ursa 12K. Give me an Ursa Mini 8K, even an Ursa Mini 6K. I don't care. Like an Ursa Mini, that'd be cool. I would buy an Ursa Mini, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think. I'm going through each brand. I don't even think I want a new camera from Nikon. I think I just want them to tell us what they're doing with the red stuff, because it's everywhere. Like they'll have a little, like, if you've ever been to a Nikon booth at an expo, they'll have all the Nikon stuff, and there's a corner where it's like a red boot, like a little tiny like red thing there. Just tell us what you're doing, because it feels weird. It feels like you've killed the dragon, you're parading its head around the town, and we don't know what you're going to do with it. We all want to know what you want to do with it. What else? Unless my nose got stuffed for a second. That was weird. Yeah, I don't have any, like, Canon's already done what they need to do, which was anything. And, like, thankfully so. I don't know if it's the right, I mean, there's Canon people that still love their stuff, so I can't say, it's too little too late. I'm trying to think who else. You know what? I want to see Zcam and Kinfinity to enter the North American market. I know they're big in Europe and like overseas. I don't know. I want to see what they can do, because for them, like on paper, the Kinfinity for the price is actually a really good deal. Like it's unreal how many people don't care about those two brands, but how much value they offer. They're like I would argue they're like the Lumix of cinema cameras. Like they have so many things to offer, and just people kind of don't really flinch about it. Yeah, Demaya looks great with CST. Yeah, if it looks good with the CST, run it. Have you ever used a Sigma? No, I've never used that at all. That's actually, I didn't know that lens existed till just now. So I'm sorry. I know. Xavier Stapleton, you pressed my question. Xavier, I'm gonna be so real with you. There are 211 comments in this live stream, and wait, did I pass your question on Instagram? No, it's not on Instagram. Yeah, I didn't see your question. Did you really work on a Spotify spec ad for Life of Riza? I wouldn't call it spec. I got paid. But also, Adam, like, assuming you saw the BTS, yeah, it was there. like, if I said no, that would be confusing, because I was there. Like, I'm just playing with you. Yes, I was there. I was the first AC for that shoot, and it wasn't spec. We got paid. Yeah, we got paid. Like I have I got paid. That wasn't spec project. We got paid. Yeah, the S1H2 would be a dream. I would love to see an FX6 would be interesting too. I don't think we're gonna get that this year. I think we're gonna get that in 2026. And I think if there wasn't a chip shortage in the pandemic, I think it would have been sooner. But I think based on that, we're not gonna see that thing until like 2026, if that. I'd love to see a Z6 III in an SD body. Really loving these. I like the retro vibe cameras, like so much so that like every camera I have has a grip. Like I got my S9 with my grip on it here. Where's my... I gotta come up with a name for this guy, but this quite literally is my EDC camera. The Fuji GFX 50R. I can't change the focus. You're just gonna, it's like right where my face is. Like this guy, everyday camera, has a gigantic grip. I think it's also just for my hands. But any camera that has some like retro styling to it. My A7C II also. Again, it's somewhere in there. It's in the shelf. But yeah, like I feel you. Have you tried color grading? ASUS management basically matches every camera's color science to one standard. Could you? I haven't used Aces, so with tutorials and stuff. Like if I haven't done a technique for quite a long time, I wouldn't be the best resource for that. I think Kazi does, so he might be a way better resource than me. You know, the 150 to 600 and love part of my wishes I got. Yeah, Brent, I don't even know that lens existed. I don't have telephoto lenses, so like my most tele lens of an 85. I think the 85 is the farthest I have. Technically, the 100 Blazar. I don't have one. I think I have cut. Y'all didn't run them likes up. Y'all said let them run the likes up. I'm gonna probably stay on for another 15 minutes. It is 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8:15. I think it's pretty solid. And then I'm gonna go do my cardio because we talked about being more healthy in 2025, and I lifted this morning. But I didn't finish cardio because I had other things to do, like shoot a video. So I went to do that. All right. So Mace, do you think the 28 to 70 f2 is worth the price point? How much more is it? I mean, it's the same price as when the Canon 20-72 came out. Yeah, actually, let me go and check what the price point is, because 8 to 70. Before I say something stupid. Yeah, it costs exactly the same as a Canon version, so I can't say it's not worth the price because people bought those like hotcakes when they came out. So, yeah, I would say so. It's not more expensive than the other one. And at least like the E-mount is open to other stuff, so. Any thoughts on how AI will affect cinematography? I think for right now, I think it'll be a great tool. My thing with AI that's I'm not super worried about it is like big corporations will use AI and then everyone will make fun of them for it. But like realistically, it'll be far be it for me to say that I'm ever going to work at the top level at a Nike commercial set. So the fact that like their marketing team are using AI doesn't change anything for me because it's a position I'll never be in. If like my clients started figuring out how to use AI and did it effectively, which I don't like, by virtue of them figuring that out, that means I have to spend a lot of time doing prompts and stuff for it, which I don't think they'll spend the time on doing, which still leaves me with somewhat of work that I still get to do. So I think it'll change things at the very high levels, but I don't know how close we freelancers that aren't working on gigantic projects are to those things, because there's still going to be a time investment to use the AI to kind of eliminate your job anyways. And if the problem with like clients with the problem you're solving is that they don't have time to make videos, and they definitely don't have the time to play around with Midjourney and Sora for 6 hours to get their video done. Also, there are some things that you're just going to have to capture in person. Like, until AI can shoot your wedding for you, wedding shooters are going to be fine. Your audio sounds great from the DJI Mic 2 you're using. What is the process for live specifically? Absolutely none. I didn't do anything. Just turned the gain up a little bit on the Pixis. It has great preamps though. And then this guy's just plugged into the receiver. And then I got this little this thing. This is actually probably for my Zoom recorder because I lost the foam on my other ones, but that's pretty much it. Also, I put these guys on Amazon. I think they're like $30. They're really cheap. But if you have a Mic 2 and you want this, because that way you get rid of the pops, you can use that. I would suggest Colin Kelly's YouTube channel if you're trying to learn about color management fundamentals, whether it's an Asus DaVinci. Yeah. Also, I watched, it's interesting because I'm watching, my girlfriend's learning how to do more editing stuff at, past doing short form content. I think she was watching, Derek Moston and Dunna, which is hilarious because, she had met him a little while ago. So, there's definitely a bunch of people. I haven't watched a lot of Colin Kelly. I watch a lot of Derek Moston, but I'm gonna check him out because I could always use learning things by way of grading footage and just using DaVinci Resolve. Did you see the Coke that's seemingly totally AI made? Kind of weird. Thankfully, I don't expect it to affect YouTube. Most people watch for real personality. Yeah, I think I think what will end up happening is, to be honest, I think with YouTube probably might be like the last stand of like organic content and like not having AI generated stuff. Because even if AI influencers took over the YouTube space, I could still exist on YouTube. For one, I could still have in-person events and verify those in-person events by making videos of those in-person events. So there might be this weird like, oh, well, confirm that you're not an AI, go to so-and-so place and have like an in real life thing. So there is still a lot of like, there's still a lot of ways that you could combat AI. I don't know. I think, and by the time it gets to that point, hopefully, something will come into the way where we'll stop it from doing that. Because then also, like, if everything is based on AI and everything is received by AI, who's paying the advertising companies to keep the company afloat? It's still going to be dependent on people. So I'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Derek Moson's great too. Yeah, I like him. Super nice. How are you finding the Pixis over the Komodo X? I like it. It's a lot cheaper. Like, I stress less because the camera's fundamentally cheaper. Image quality is not super far off that it's unbearable. Truthfully, for me personally, like in most situations, I'll put them in the same boat a lot of times. In fact, I think the set that we have on Saturday, we're shooting Raptor X on a Russian arm. I think it's a Russian arm. No, it's a little bit bigger than the Hydra Alien. But yeah, we're shooting on a follow car, and we'll be shooting that on the Raptor. Then I'm shooting all the interiors and stuff on the Pixis, and they're gonna cut together really, really well. My big thing was like, hey, if I could reinvest that Komodo X money into something else, which I did, and I'm very happy about that. And we'll talk about that maybe in like a year or so, because it's not a lot to do with cameras. But well, someone just sent me something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I think it's fine. I think if you're someone who is contemplating between the KX and the Pixis, if you're making the contemplation, chances are you're probably not going to notice a gigantic difference between the two unless you need something that needs fast readout. For me, that's not a lot of things, including cars, depending on the situation. So okay. Well, Thomas, you just bought the live stream an extra 10 minutes. I almost got off the stream. I just about to. Super chat. Gotta run. Love the live streams. Maybe see memberships someday. Hey, we are thinking about doing memberships. I was talking about doing 3 live streams a week. I think what I'm going to do is I might have some members only videos, because there's some things that just don't work well for YouTube videos and also don't work well for live streams either. And also because they're members only videos, the idea to make them like these extravagant pieces and not just, hey, let's just, have conversations. I think I could do that. I think I could do some membership stuff. You know what? Y'all put a 1 in the chat. Is there 71 people here? No, there's 40. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want some members only content, which I'll be fully clothed, just so we're clear. Also, thank you, Thomas. I didn't say that yet. Any real difference between the Cinema Camera 6K and the Pixis aside from the extra D-squeeze options? Video? No, not at all. Between the two cameras, I did a 3-camera interview on 1 Pixis and 2 Cinema Camera 6Ks full frame. You can't tell. But again, I don't think there are tweaks to the sensor, which I don't think meant that the color science or the dynamic range is drastically different. They're so close together, man. Yeah, Preston, you're a little bit late, but that's okay. We've been streaming for about almost 2 hours. I could do with my current workflow right now and like how things are not as fast paced and not traveling as often per month. I could pull off a 2-hour stream a couple times a week. But there's a few ones in here. Yeah, I'll think about it. I'll think about getting some members only videos going. You know what? Hang on a second. Let me ask a secondary question in terms of members only, just because we're at the end here. We can it's like the post-credit scene. What are good ideas for membership videos? Because I've been thinking about that a little bit. There's like multiple ways I can go, but I also don't want to just repeat other people's membership video ideas. But what are some members only videos that you guys might be into? Also, there are 2 people that dislike this, which, whatever. I don't care. 2 people liked it and 71 liked it, then I'm having a good day. But yeah, I want some ideas for some members only videos because I have never had that before, so I'm kind of curious. Ooh, okay. Color grade. Ooh, so we could do, like, if I had a project that I had worked on and I could grade it in a live stream. I might not be able to like explain every single step as I'm doing everything. I'll screen share so that way you could see it happening. Okay, I like the color grading aspect of things. What else? I also anything that's like under NDA. That's not going to be in a live stream. That's not a members only thing. Members only work critique. Okay. Ooh, I have an idea. We can do like a members only show. So maybe we'll do one where like it's color grading, because that could take up 2 hours if I string it out. Members only critique could be great, and then I would almost say like you make them sections, right? Like you could have a critique of the week. Okay, I like that. Grading, editing content. Editing content's gonna be tough because my stuff gets sent off to an editor. Zach is an absolute beast, and especially when I don't have time to edit when we're going super fast. He's been able to take on some of the heavy lifting. So, wait, hang on a second. Counter offer. Can we do live streams with the editor and we could talk? We could actually have a pretty good show going on. So Zach might actually get into the live stream game. Might join us in a little bit. Also, for you guys that are watching, the 36 of you that are watching, we are just in the end game now. I'm just asking questions for the next stream because I like taking feedback as long as it's respectful. A show would be dope. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm going to try to think of a format of a show. So I guess maybe like one end would be critique. We'll have like a little section with Zach that's in there. There might be sometimes where I'll show behind the scenes of projects that like aren't super exciting because like I still freelance and stuff in between YouTube and stuff like that, but there's just some things that are boring, and I don't feel like telling you guys about the time that I shot Google ads for the 97th time. But okay, I could consider all those. But yeah, if you guys are here on the replay, leave a comment down below on what member-only videos that you guys want to see. Yeah, thanks for the stream. Gotta go soon. Honestly, I'm gonna probably wrap this up right now. I'm realizing my gym is going to close soon, so I want to get my cardio in. So I don't know, I could fit into 2XL shirts instead of 3XL shirts in 2025. So I'm gonna wrap stuff up. Gotta go. Didn't even know you did these, but with all your business. Yeah, man. I've been doing these for like as soon as 2025 started. So I'm gonna be doing a lot more live streams. Hopefully they'll get better. It'll be more like showy. I think it'll be more fun. But we are in the end game now. 2 hours is a lot of time to keep you guys prisoner here. So I'm going to wrap these guys up. Love to hear what Zach has to say. Keep his wrist from falling off. Yeah, I'll take care of Zach. I'll make sure he's actually sick right now, and it makes me sad. But I'll make sure that happens. But I'm going to wrap up the stream. Thank you all of the 237 comments, 8 super chats, and I think they just automatically favored, but 8 favorites, and everyone that came through. And we'll see you guys in the next one, probably on Wednesday. Peace.